We return to the VALORANT North American Challengers powered by Zippo Open Qualifier. Tenrek and Keg going into map number 2 here between YFP and the Glazers. Only one of these teams qualifying for VCL tonight. And Keg, YFP is just one map away after a stellar performance on a 15-13 Icebox victory.
That's absolutely right, Tenrek. And Split is going to be a very decisive map between both of these teams. Let me throw a little stat at you. Actually, we can talk about Icebox first, right? And we can play that into the stats. This has been a map that has not been in the pool for a long time. The fact that we went into such deep overtime rounds has been incredible alone, but it goes to show how much these two teams have scrimmed it out, labbed it out, and come up with strategies, and especially the mid-round adaptations being so strong. The thing is, though, is that Icebox hasn't been around for a while. Split has, but these teams don't play Split very often. Now, Tyler, how many times do you think YFP has played Split since June last year?
Since what?
June of last year.
Since June of last year? How many times do I think they played Split?
Yep.
I'll say, like 10 maybe?
Ooh, wow, you're going for high numbers.
What?
Oh yeah.
Huh?
Try 2, maybe 3. Yep. And here's the real kicker, right? That wasn't even with this modern YFP.
Right, I'm saying, yeah, I was gonna say, like, this YFP squad just started. Like, this is...
Yeah. So there has to be a lot going on behind the scenes to allow Split to go by. And no, to be fair, the Glazers didn't play a lot of Split either, except for this qualifier where they played it 4 times and they've won it 100% of the time. Normally map stats, sure, they're cool, but like this time around, you have a team that barely ever plays this map against a team that's been flawless. That is a huge dichotomy you have to worry about. Oh, wow. Look how even the stat line was between YFP and the Glazers. Like, what? Well, can we measure the Thrifties in a single clutch being the X factor for YFP to take the victory? No. This was such an even game through and through that if you hit the top of the UI, you could guess that each team was the opposite. They played so similarly, they had different mechanisms on a macro level, but in terms of accomplishments and what they wanted to do into a round, was exactly the same.
Yeah, that speaks again to how much of a mental battle Icebox is, right? Is going through those motions. You got so many for them, dude. You're crazy.
I don't know where they come from.
But it's such a rinse and repeat map, and like you said, it feels like a good natural progression to go to Split, where you see a lot of teams able to recycle the same plans, but it comes down to how long you hold on to those plans and at what point you switch your strategy to keep your opponents guessing. And I think both these teams did a solid job of that on Icebox. I think Glazers did a good job of infecting site, particularly B site. They did a good job of overtaking that space. That way Snowman became kind of trivial, and the flank watch was honestly kind of a no-brainer for them. But meanwhile, YFP, their timing was godlike. Their frontline potential was extravagant, and their ability to just hold it down 1v2, 1v3, more often than not was so successful. I don't know if those same exact factors are going to slot into the same roles on Split, but a lot of the puzzle pieces seem very similar.
Yeah, I mean, they are going to be similar. I'm looking at Drone and I'm looking at Penny going into this next match. When we saw Split in the last series, I was focused on the initiators and what kind of info gathering could be found early and mid-round. Now I want to see what they can find in terms of raw aggression. Let's see what the agents are going to be for both teams. Nothing too wild. Despite this YFP being new, this is actually the same team comp from the old YFP Split. I like this. The Astra, the Viper, allows so much flexibility, both attack and defense, to find extra space that the attackers are not. But when we swap to the Glazers, guess what? It's the same thing. The only difference is that you don't have a Sky anymore. You're going for a KO. And that really speaks volumes about the recent changes about Sky. Do you want to play for your comfort? Can you get away with your main info gathering be 2 flashes in the dog? Maybe, but Physic might have a little bit more nuanced utility, especially if they start on defense and can shut down very fast aggression from the Rays.
Yeah, the pick for Physic really speaks to at what place the initiator meta is, particularly on Split, where initiators already kind of take a back seat to an extent. And in
I missed
turn,
double dive.
yeah, don't we all, man?
Yeah.
Instead, the double controller from Icebox has now permeated into Split, which is pretty classic of these gamers. They're gonna we might get a Twitter
the same
screenshot.
Team that plays Icebox? No.
we might get a screenshot from an overhead of like triple smokes, double cosmic divide at some point. We might get a Twitter screenshot today, but we start on B site. We start with the Glazers on the attack. YFP chose to start out on the defense, and Bones choosing to start out heavy aggression with the help of this Nebula. Penny's also just gonna hop into this fray. Waiting for the flash, and it's a double swing that Ange is able to shut down both sides of. A 2-for-1 that the Glazers will win out on, and they'll use that to fire up that screen, get all of that initiating util up, and just scare away the rest of YFP.
Now, remember, we talked about the Astra and the Viper, how malleable you can make those lurks and rotations. Riku, they've already pushed quite a bit into mid. Poison Orb's active, that's going to be Jonah's, and it's going to hurt Jonah. Turns around right at the wrong time. They have to be aware.
Simply must know, yeah.
Oh.
Enough to work with.
Whole army was there.
Yeah, not even that many shots landing, unfortunately, here. Moose and Physic the only ones left, and they are a ways away. B-site very free for Glazers here. Hop on.
30 seconds
Precision
left.
gonna just make sure that everything else is taken care of. Physic has far too much to watch. Riku, amazing watch from the tower here. Comes down to just Moose, who will walk right into Zachary here, I think.
Yeah,
Don't know if you
there's not
find
many
anything
options
else.
Moose has.
Yeah. Very well done by Glazers. That was very disciplined, very well kept, and great teamwork the whole way through.
Both teams had great teamwork. I mean, the flash that we had seen out of the Nebula from Physic to allow Penny and I think it was Penny and Bones, the double swing out of B main was really good teamwork. That is like teamwork you see at like, the top tier level, right? Unfortunately, it looks like it was run into by the Glazers because they got mowed down, but the idea is there. And now B-side has been completely abandoned. YFP are fully expecting a big rush from the Glazers outside of A. That won't happen. But if it doesn't happen on A site, there is the plan. YFP, full retake potential, could just flood B site with all of their controller utility. And there it is. They've already caught wind that there's so much info, so much utility dumped down on B. It's gotta be where it's executed. And luckily, there is a plan. Zachary on that lure could be a good way to divide out vents back over, maybe, to heaven. Waiting to see if he crosses sewers. Okay.
Yeah, he's coming through to mid. So YFP has got to keep at least one pair of eyes on this, preferably two, if you can, but time is of the essence here. You don't have anybody from Garage either. The Glazers are doing their homework. They're checking their backs. Good knife. Oh, great flush out with the paint shells. Penny is going to be able to grab Riku here, but Drone has such a good angle. Bones is able to hop on and grab at least one more, though. So 1v2 that Zachary is finally back in time for. Gonna be able to grab a gun here at the very least, but yeah, in comes Precision, and both players are able to grab a crossfire. Glazers will win things out. It's a close one, though. YFP actually showed some signs of life there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that does hurt the economy a little bit more for the Glazers, and we'll have to wait and see what the fallout of that is. But we do get to see some save potential, yeah. What would normally be a full bonus buy from the Glazers turns into nothing but sheriffs and pistols and a single outlaw bulldog to work off of. If YFP lose more bodies here, that's going to be a huge pickup for the Glazers, especially with that outlaw. But where's the outlaw's presence going to be? Way in the back of A site. Slow and steady wins the race. Never mind, we're fully ramping it up, but there's the shutdown we were talking about. The race stuck in her tracks because of the suppressing knife.
Yeah, that's an immediate shutdown that forces the Glazers to kind of tread on foot. But with the help of the Nebulas, they're still able to do so. YFP heads back out of the sand. Riku give themselves away. Ange not, though! And letting that outlaw fly. Still one more left, no longer. Now popping in to finish off Riku. Can't turn around for Zachary, and YFP's management is forced to be checked constantly. Moose saved in the nick of time by Jonah and Bones, and that's going to be enough to get the rest of YFP onto site. 3 stay alive for the bonus.
Yeah, good bonus too. Only losing 2 bodies, not going to hurt the economy too much there. Big economic talk in the beginning of the round, I can't pretend I'm a money guy. I just look at numbers at the screen. But what I can tell you is that keeping 3 rifles alive is still a really good option to have for YFP. They can light shield buy. No, they can full shield buy into this next round. And, well, it's not the best situation in the world. If they can convert this 2-2, money's also not great from the Glazers. They can also be run dry. And we saw that a lot on Split earlier today, where it was a big force by thrifty battle for both teams. We see those stars coming down already. Mid and B site. Defensive prowess there, knowing full well that the Glazers may try to opt to play more towards B this time around. A was shut down heavily in the beginning. A slower game and baiting out the knife to allow the execution there would be huge.
Penny searching for something down B main. Glazers are gonna book it to A now. Zachary now doing the preliminary lurking, actually. Moose having to really watch his tail, and Zachary not looking the right way. Opener to the push is gone, so now Drone has to do the dirty work again, unfortunately.
And his space was all denied.
Massive amount sacrificed there, unfortunately. They might just have to let go of this. No, they'll head up the ramp, try and take tower instead, but YFP's ready for that too. Cam is gonna catch him, paint shells tossed in, and the screen to reset. Easy defensive hold, Jonah good for 2, and Riku is still gonna get caught by this knife, pops out for just the 1. Very lonely members of Glazers at this point, and YFP have the setup, or do they? Yes, they do, and only good for 1 as well, and YFP will tie things up.
Yeah, the entire idea for the Glazers was to bait out the KO knife and then rotate around to have that clean execution to A. Not quite the case. Right into heavily. Zachary kind of gave away the plot there by being caught out on that really deep lurk, but the timing was off. Zachary had fallen, and that didn't allow enough time for the rest of the Glazers to follow up and take that space back and confirm it for their own. The timing for the Glazers needs to be looked into in these next few rounds. Mid seems to be the way to go this time. And there's that triple cross contact from YFP that they're looking to build up. They know that mid was going to be a viable point at some point, but it's a default, a double lurk. We see this all the time from an attacking team. There's no Sky on the defense. Keep that in mind. No early flash that can dissuade and find information against that A-side lurk. All you have to do is drain the defensive util, especially in mid. Try to go and find that final stab in the back against Jonah.
It's a good start to get rid of this orb. But now Penny coming in to supplement. Good amount of damage on the boom bot. And the paint shells to finish off Drone as well. Complete shutdown from YFP thus far. But Riku once again still sitting relatively unscathed. Not for much longer. Goodness me. Great spray. Very low at this stage.
Poison's on.
Giving themselves away a little bit more here. But since Spike is still stuck, Riku still has to puppy guard this. They kind of have to just flex it. Another blast pack to force Riku away. Oh, you're toying with your food at this stage.
Poison's off.
Jonah with the shutdown and YFP in the 5v2, making a 5v1, making a 5v9. Jonah with the follow-up, and YFP complete shutdown to get the lead.
Yeah, this is great from YFP. Again, a team that hasn't necessarily had much footage against them so far on this map. They very rarely play it, but they are looking like a well-oiled machine, at least for the defensive side thus far. But if there's anything we've come across from the qualifier so far is that we've seen the defensive split is pretty nutty at times. 4-1 split. We saw this a lot with Winthorpe earlier today. And they found a lot of value taking that A heaven control. But I'm still looking at that KO knife as a shutdown factor. Luckily, blast packs didn't make it the distance of the knife. But it did allow Drone to take that distance forwards.
Physic is going to make sure that they know Drone is here with that knife. So YFP have already given up a lot of space here. The Viper's Pit hopefully to divert the split push.
It's the anchors now.
That's a waiting
Everyone
game.
else is on A site.
It's about who's gonna
But look at the
crunch.
contest inside of the pit. They're parsing out where this Viper could be to potentially allow that rotate over from vents to B site. They have to hurry though. All of YFP's top on the other side of this wall.
Paint shells and fragment tossed in. It is a war zone here on ramp. A lot of damage done, but Zachary's still somehow not caught and now not checked, actually. So he's gonna be able to come back out with the help of the screen, perhaps. Oh no, the knife is gonna reconfirm. So they're still
It's
stuck
only one
there.
body, though.
Back to mid we go. They're gonna gamble on this Viper's Pit being the better option, and the Seekers are gonna make sure that they know, or at least Penny is, still searching for Jonah. as they'll be able to parse out Penny, but you still have to get inside from vents, and Ange cannot shut down, and so it's a full rotation over to B site instead. That's all they've got left, and such low health, along with another star placed down. Bones is just gonna do it by himself, and YFP make it a 4-2 game.
Oh, I mean, where to begin? The Viper hole comes up in A main, and it's just such a good division barrier between the defense and the attackers. You can tell that the split push wants to be viable from Glazer's end. They want to push into the Viper's pit, but there's just this hesitation, waiting for the timing to make it work. And because the timing doesn't work out, the push into the Viper's pit alongside this gigantic, grandiose battle in A heaven, it promotes a lack of map space completely. A timeout is desperately needed here. Everything we've seen from Glazer so far has not worked. Now that YFP have rifles in their hands, Tenrek, it becomes a whole lot more difficult. It's these anchors, again, that we've continued to see in Split so far this qualifiers that just single-handedly shut down the entirety of the attack.
That's got to be the hardest part of this, is that, you know, when you come back to the summary and you see everything that Glazer still have, it feels like it feels like it doesn't take much, right? It feels like YFP have so much more control than I would say they do, because everything they're doing is quite standard so far.
Yeah, both sides haven't really brought anything crazy out in this matchup. I mean, granted, we're 7 rounds in, but even then, at the end of our last series, I keep referring to it, we started seeing some really wild plays and a lot of mid-rounding that involved just lurking, mini lurks, anything to just keep this defense on their toes. This might be the winning round, but keep an eye on Physic again. A great keen eye about where they think the entry will be once again. The shutdown, the knife, the timing needs to be everything here. No way. Did that shut down Drone's ult?
I think it did. I think it got timed out. Oh,
this timing's incredible.
Yeah, that was just so perfect.
What a read.
Now you got to just play the distance again. The paint shells can finish off Jonah, so you don't have the far angle, and so with the Cosmic Divide, they're gonna lean into this double screen, but there's still a lot of space to breach from this. I mean, you can't get tossed back
up. When you see this wall, it has to be a split push. You don't know what's on the other side of that wall if you're attacking.
They'll dance to the other side, but tower's still not clear. Penny's gonna confirm at least one here, and so YFP can still spread themselves out along sight. As the CD fades, the knife confirms both of these attackers still here. They have all the leisure in the world, unless Physic is taken care of. Precision, the turnaround! Moose chokes it! And Penny all of a sudden is left all on his lonesome with just 2 blast packs. 25 seconds to go. A lot of util to clear the rest of the board. Now they know there's no one in Link, no one in Cubby. They know Penny is still upstairs. And look where they're both staring. Funny.
Oh, they're looking to go into the attic right now. The timing.
No way. No way, dude. Drone, I swear to God.
Please, Penny. I'm putting my 2 cents on you.
They know Precision has to be back here as well.
It's a crossfire setup. The drop is heard. Audio.
Oh my God, no way!
I think my neighbors woke up. Penny! What do you even say?
You still, that was hip fire!
I have no words.
He was buffering that! Because it was still on cooldown! And he still gets that?
Okay, here, POV, you're Penny. The rest of your teammates have just given individual solo 1v2s for no reason when you had the body advantage. Guys, it's okay. Don't do it again, but watch how it's done.
They keep clawing at our wall.
I mean, what a shutdown. What a statement from YFP.
Yeah.
This has been the best iteration of their roster so far.
This is unreal, dude. And I mean, again, it is a team that is asking so nicely at this point. They're like, I mean, this is, we've been here before. I feel like Moose is like asleep right now. He's so used to this, right?
Another day in the office.
Exactly. He's just clocking in.
Okay.
To take down the Glazers.
I like this adaptation though. The smoke was meant to divide out B Heaven in case anyone was there for fence control. There is that default lurk back over on the A main. Zachary hasn't created enough space yet, though. This could go either way. Right now, the Glazers are just looking for any sort of contact to get that opening pick. Force out rotates, go to the opposite site.
Okay, they bluffed out the drop onto Vents, but no one was there to hear it. Regardless, the hard rotation's still there. Bones and Penny watching from tower, though. 2 for 1, and they still hear Riku. Penny, say hello! And again, a total shutdown of the initial push. Ange coming to pick up the pieces. Penny's up to 3. Why don't we just get another showstopper this round? Why not?
30 seconds left.
Zachary had a timing there. Didn't recognize it, though.
Oh, did he only have 1 bullet left?
Do.
Oh, dog.
So not only does Penny get some of the wildest kills I've ever seen in this game, he just immediately answers back the next round with a 4K. Unbelievable. And now, if you thought Penny's antics were wild, now you have an upping Astra, Cosmic Divide ready and going, no command on top of that, and Moose with a neural theft. If we thought the Glazers were shut down already, it's gonna be tenfold these next 2 rounds.
Yeah, Glazers are, they might as well play with a hand tied behind their back at this point. It is really tough to keep this snowball from continuing to roll. And YFP, they would love to keep it rolling. 1 map away, 7 rounds from VCL. I mean, this is an org who has been clamoring to get this far for so long.
Oh, Bones early op shot removes Riku. Huge opening pick.
And now you just have to stick around. You just gotta wait for the rest of the team to be like, now what do we do?
Yeah, but it's dedicated here. You could still easily attack on B site, but the problem now remains, if you wanted to fake out that Viper wall, Astra Stars were so necessary for A, and that's not an option anymore. The execute has to be a split push.
It's gonna be. Up the tower we go. Drone and Precision. Pioneers, again, not double checking. Jonah is able to deal with both, and it's another positive trade for YFP. Bones on the peak to Zachary, it's perfect. Once again, it feels like just a blue marble in a sea of YFP. 3 on the sniping Astra. I have never said that sentence before in my life.
I mean, we talked about the journey for both YFP and Glazers going into this matchup and how YFP did have an interesting journey getting there, but I said, look, I think they're hiding stuff. Both these teams have not shown their full gambit just yet. They want to qualify, they have to show something new. YFP split is new. The master class that we're seeing defensively for YFP on this defense on split is new. It has to keep going. Remember too, we know how defender-sided this map can be at times, especially with how slow it can be with attackers. That means the Glazers are not out of the running just yet.
And see, that's what scares me, is that I think that Sky is still so much better for the retakes. I think that Glazers have just as good of a chance of playing for the hard rotates in this swap that YFP does in just going for the shutdown. But that's it has to get to that point first.
Yeah, YFP are making sure there is not a retake. There are no retakes. And this is all fake over to A site.
Yeah.
Problem is, though, that's all of Moose's util.
And no one's checking the screen.
No,
Viper's
the timing,
pit toss
the
up. It does find Riku, not the pit holder, but Zachary is still up and running and is going crazy. Physic will finally shut that down, but Zachary is still kicking. A 4K for the Cypher. Another Accru alum, by the way. Gotta represent. So sorry, y'all. But
I mean, a great turnaround here. Look at this divide here. The distraction factor, no one cleared backside before the Vipers all had come out. That allowed Zachary to go for the wide swing, catching people off guard, getting good for 1, hiding away yet again, using the Viper's pit to their own advantage. You were able to swerve in and out and to just take individual 1v1s. That's the cost benefit, or maybe the not benefit, of bringing out that Viper's pit. So now the ball may be rolling now for the Glazers. Poison Orbs open, looking to see that split push back over yet again. Look where the spike's dedicated, though. This is all for the lurk.
Oh, drone flushed away, and it's chaos in front of mid. The YFP attempts to lean into. It's still not positive, though. Astra for Astra. Zachary just dipping in. Physic is ready. Not for Ange, though. And they're able to pick themselves back up. Jonah is there to shuffle, though. And so YFP, they'll take the back seat. They'll head back. They'll play for the hard rotate. And with Moose on that neural theft, they'll know where they have to go. It's back over to A site. Road trip. The Glazers, they did a lot of dividing. They finally learned how to conquer on the attack. Can they do it one more time? An 8-4 half is respectable as can be. And Drone is going to get them there. Mayhaps 2 HP in the 2v1, and he's going to get it done himself. Glazers all of a sudden up to 4 rounds, and we do indeed have a game on our hands.
A flick of a switch, and all it took for the Glazers was this diversified, have a less linear style of play. We saw the assault team of I suppose now it was the attackers, the attacking Viper in Cypher back then on A ramps, allowing the rest of the squad down in deep mid to push up through the poison orb and just wait. The idea was for both of those squads to converge together inside of vents, and it was never to be. Instead, it had to be a gigantic rotate over with that space that was somewhat created. But now we swap I'm 1 round ahead. But 7-4. I thought it was pistol. My bad.
That's all
but
good.
now we get to see the wall comes up. Poison orb down. Bones is hiding so away. Doesn't even use the gravity well. Hiding away from the back lines. No, everyone's caught off guard.
Bones, I am amazed that Bones was not spotted there. Still able to keep it down, but Jonah is back in tow. And with the spike so far up sight, of course that pit's gonna get launched. Zachary has his work cut out for him for certain. But you're able to maybe spray and find Jonah here if you enter the angle right, and the rest of YFP
You're not expecting Pillar,
is
though.
waiting for the isolation. Oh my god! There it is! Okay. Great start, Zach. Now what else you got? 50 seconds, a lot of time, 1 trap wire in the bank. But 2 sights from Tower, spots them both. Lineup potential maybe? Maybe just a head tap? No, sirree. YFP keeps it clean and grabs their 8th.
Ooh, I mean,
Switching
we're just
sides.
how back and forth these rounds have been all of a sudden towards the end. Now we swap sides. And I don't know what to expect anymore.
That goes there.
There's double Astras, which is something we don't get to see terribly often on Split, but now, again, we'd have to talk about the double initiation. The KO versus the Sky. You said that you would rather have a Sky for those retakes, but YFP, again, with Physic, they never really had an opportunity to retake now. But with a post plant, with that suppressing knife, the 0 point could find so much extra damage in denying a Flood retake. And it looks like this could be the 5 stack back over to B site. Defensive pings are down. 2 very large squads of members outside of mid. And that's 3. Yeah, 3. That means B site should be relatively empty. Wall comes up.
And with the screen up, Glazers will take that as the signal that it is going to be a commitment to B site. How much of this fight does YFP want to take? None of it. Nebula tossed
Timing
up,
here.
Snakebite as well. They'll play for the post. They've done what is supposedly the hard part here, despite it being on the pistol. Oh, whoopsie. That's okay. Still works enough for Moose, I guess. Okay, Dog is going to catch him. Extra Nebula tossed in for time, which is so crucial at this stage. Bones in Moose. Attempted to hold it down. Are you kidding me, Moose? Are you joking right now? I mean, Zachary's still in this. 1 shot to get Jonah. Do not make me panic like that again. YFP, hold on. After quite the chaotic drop fight from Tower.
I mean, I was
Yeah,
really
please give me the Zippo
expecting
replay for that one.
more. Beautiful. Yeah, beautiful Zippo replay right there. I was fully expecting to see more utility coverage from YFP in the post plan. Timing factor, as I was expecting from Physic to bring out that 0 point again on that Flood from Heaven. Not the case. Instead, hiding in corners, allowing the utility from the Glazers to be worked up against them is huge. Now we see that 4-1 default split that's so common to split. B-side's empty. It's played for retake now. Full expectations that the Glazers expect the YFP to pounce upon A, and it's silence. Defender pings are out. They want to know, is there any info outside of A? But there is. That's gonna be Moose. He purposely got flashed by the Sky.
So
Nobody rotates the B because of it.
they're not touching it.
Oh,
Moose has
but
done
now,
so much there. That is insane.
but Tenrek, outside of that, right? If you can play off this time and Spike goes down, someone needs to scale up. It's risky, but you bought up the rifles. It's nothing but pistols on the other side.
Yeah.
No scale up at all from YFP. They're condensed to the site. They want to play for trades if it comes to that.
Here.
Two watching for the flank, and just spotted. And so Bones should be able to return. Glazers, I mean, they really, you can tell they just have no idea how to approach this. How to even die with grace this round, right?
I mean, they're looking for exits already. You can tell from the top of spawn, they're just doing whatever they can to maybe find impact, but no. Bones is already clearing the way. He gets to look for exits, but there's no point in surviving with just pistols. Zachary and Riku know what to do and become one with the spike. 10 to 4.
That is a clinic from YFP and Moose in particular. I mean, just that solo hold to make sure that there's not even somebody to trade. There's not even somebody to like toss a snake bite down. Is monumental for the momentum for YFP here. I mean, if you pick this off now, which you have the ability to, it is not a full buy for Glazers. You have 2 lights in there, and the closest thing you got is a showstopper for drone. YFP have the path. Can they blaze it? Everybody's on A site. Everybody's ready to push this. Glazers, minimal hold. They have the screen for ramp. They have the screen hold for Zachary. Both will get counteracted by Nebulas. The paint shells for the latter as well. And out we go. First bird tossed by Precision. They and Ange are able to spray down the first bit of the attack without losing too much of their own health. Ange gonna get healed back up, and YFP is back to the drawing board in the doldrums of Maine as Zachary is now no longer smoked out, can start taking shots of his own. Jonah taking the brunt of that damage too. And YFP now feel the suffocation for themselves, despite the fact that this is a bonus. To do nothing here would be massive for the Glazers' defense in the long run. And that's what we're on the trail to do. Moose is only good for 1, and Glazers can keep it clean.
Look, there's no reason to rotate if you're YFP there. You're bonus buying. You've already had monumental impact for those first 2 rounds. Again, you're looking for that 3rd round to be just removing guns away. And so that fight in top of ramps was important for YFP, but it wasn't necessary for the victory.
No.
The Glazers, though, they do get their 5th round. They have to bring it together now with these rifles. There is no wiggle room anymore. 3 rounds, potentially separating YFP from qualifying. That is insanity. But let's see. Things go down on the attacking side. Is that a lineup for the knife? Yes, it is. That should shut down the Astra behind the scenes and allow a fast entry, but no. They chose not to line it up. Instead, they're looking to gain more space on top of mid. That's going to allow the split push to go into B site, divide out any defensive presence with that Viper wall.
Due to the Nebulas, Ange is really just forgoing vents here in favor of letting YFP play a bit slower here, because Glazers are happy to kind of just hold down these short sites. Like Ange, who is now rotated back over to tower and is once again with Precision. Look at the weight on this B site, but they're so ready for this crunch. Perfectly placed. Snakebite for the entry. It might have just been a little bit too late here, but can still maybe grab the kill. Yes, indeed. Precision is also still unchecked up tower. They have to flash that out, but now comes the garage picks as well. Physic and Penny both good for 1 each. YFP getting it done, trade for trade, and it all comes to a head with 2 on site. Zachary once again having to clutch up to keep the Glazers from losing basically everything. The buy will be so piecemeal if they lose out on this, but it's so doable. 1 cage, 1 cubby.
Oh, the knife. The knife is all you need. Crossfire setup, sure. A single star to work with. Cyber cage down. The knife has to be thrown.
Cage trigger.
It's too close up.
I don't know what you do here. You just have to peek it.
Yeah.
You have to go for it. 2 rounds to go here. And again, Glazers, a really tough decision here. You might even need to time out for it.
Yeah, I was about to say, yeah, you have to go for a timeout here.
Yeah.
There needs to be a drastic change right now. It's hard to say. It's one of those situations where you cannot let your team be defeated this far in. You've made it this far into the qualifier. The energy's high. The emotions, I'm sure, are high right now. But it's just being able to find that 1 click to deny YFP. But their communication's been so smooth, and they're so good about using the environment to their advantage. We talked about Viper Wall last round, divided out that Astra, made sure that you have people on B site defending, but you don't have the full squad watching every angle or having your back for trades. And that's where those mini squads of YFP come in from. So the Glazers, they can't give up mid control like that again. That was decimating for B Heaven. Now Drone does have that showstopper. Easily. Double blast pack showstopper as soon as contact is made. If the Valorant gods are in his favor, it'll be right directly where he is on spawn. But, oh, he is taking the risk on B. The spike was thrown nearby, but it seems like, though, again, we're going back to a default. YFP understand, timeout's called. We have to play for safety here. I know something is going to change with a force spy rifle round, and we have to see what it is before we really let loose again.
This is, I mean, this round could be the lock for YFP. They understand how carefully they need to play this. They understand that when it comes to split, when it comes to a team like the Glazers, opportunities do not come by this often. The knife is going to guarantee no presence in vents yet again. But YFP, very scared to commit to this, understanding that Ange is going to be watching this time. Let go of it far too early on in the previous round, and still has the guns to deal with this. Down to just one snake bite, though. YFP are just kind of playing the endurance game here. Bird to confirm the presence in A main here, so Glazers are ready to get crunched. But how soon? That Vent's presence is coming soon, and so here comes the push. Jonah wins the duel against Riku, and here's the null command. Physic is on the way out, immediately taken down by Precision, but it matters not. Back up we get a neural theft to twist that knife even deeper. Drone guaranteed to be in screens at this stage. Still unknown as to where Zachary is, but he is trailing, as is the Glazers at this pace. Jonah off to a crumb, but that is it. Still a 5v2. And Zachary has so many directions to look. He doesn't look in physics. Drone versus the world to save maybe the only opportunity they have left, the only real one, and there is simply too much. One more round to go, and it all ends. And YFP, they have all the tools they need to deal with it. They have a Cosmic Divide. They could just default.
They can, but YFP, they've been so good about circumventing these blind spots that the Glazers have had. Even if you look at that minimap, and it seems like everything should be covered in theory, there's always a blind spot. Last few rounds it was mid. Some rounds it's been the gateway from A main to ramp. And we can see that division of the utility that Zachary's trying to spread so wide to catch any of these lurkers off guard. And look how far back everyone's playing. The full expectation is the rush down from the Glazers. They're expecting a full push. And the A-main's been shut down by that Viper's Pit. Drone still has the showstopper for an early appearance.
Right there.
But YFP have to make this next move. Any footstep, any Cypher. No, the smoke on top. Cypher can't block. That should promote the showstopper. But Physic could shut it down.
The dog to confirm. They just really want to make sure that Drone's going to get value for this. But the knife, he's waiting for this ult to be called. There it is. The party is just in time. Drone lets it go. And Precision can refrag. Glazers take advantage. Can they propel to a round win off of it? Riku, such a crucial part of this story. There it is! Nebula in tandem. Jonah can't refrag. Riku in the fight of his life can't win it, but Jonah is so low. And so it's 2v3. A Cosmic Divide is gonna get committed here. YFP, they want this round to be the one. And Bones does have a pretty fun angle to make it work. Nobody is watching this tower hold. Bones is downstairs, but Precision is now unchecked. Jonah is alone and waiting for Ange to peek in. Doesn't see the angle though, and Glazers will hold on for at least one more round.
For dear life at that too. The Glazers, just when you always think it's over, they find the way back. Let's look at that replay again. Just frames off of suppressing Drone's showstopper. That would have shut down his ult completely. Made it unusable.
Yes. This goes
Would have had him standing out to dry in mid.
Oh, this is a nice spot.
And now what are the ults gonna look like? There were so many used that last round. YFP thought that was it. Penny now gonna be farming for that A orb, looking to find that early Ram's presence off of it.
Camera taken out.
He's not even looking for the orb. He's just gonna go in.
Ignored it.
He just wants the smoke. At least to get rid of Zachary, maybe to flush him out, and it'll work. The rest of the Glazers will back away. And YFP amp up the tempo just a little bit to create that space that the Glazers may have felt they were capable of taking before. They want to make sure this attitude remains for the rest of the game, regardless of how many rounds the Glazers can clutch up. YFP still monitoring this mid site and closer than ever to this Vents hold. But does it matter?
Draining the utility. Looking for any sort of weakness to whittle away the Glazers. There's that singular star. Riku, they're 1 point off of that Cosmic Divide.
And they don't find it.
Oh,
Massive.
that's a huge retake.
Big
Oh, gone.
bird from Precision. Maybe one more left. Never mind. Penny can swing it first. Drone and Ange on the way. The cavalry is here. Is it enough? Zachary has to 1v3. Out we enter from Link, finding just one, but the rest is done. YFP, it took a complete switch of team, but this org has finally made it into Challengers, and they are your second team to qualify.
YFP have worked harder than almost any other org that we have seen in Valorant for years and years and years for this moment. And it finally happens. YFP, they deserve it so much. But I mean, the gameplays we had seen, the kills overall, I mean, Penny.
That was, yeah.
Penny is playing incredible. Incredible there. And I mean, you could say the same thing about individual prowess for every single player from both Icebox and Split. It just never ended. And now with the two teams that we've seen qualify today, this Challenger circuit is going to be absolutely full to the brim with some of the best gameplay I think we'll see in a while.
Yeah, this felt like a trailer for YFP more than anything else.
Yeah.
Just a reminder of how good these players are, and you'll get to see them play all year now in the highest North American tier. That is just so exciting and so relieving, honestly, if you're a YFP fan. If it went any longer, you might have started to get a little nervous.
Yeah, I mean, look, you know, how YFP has started from the bottom, they've worked their way up. Sad, you could say, very similar boat, but YFP's been around since the very beginning. I mean, the stats, they say everything. We could have guessed it off of the first kills. I mean, it makes a lot of sense. YFP, once they found a weakness, someone overstepped, they found that entry point, they moved in on the attack, and they were able to take that first blood and take it home to a full win.
And once again, it came at the hands of enacting upon what you knew was already there. And while Glazers initially tried to keep them guessing, it ultimately led to them sacrificing too much space. And I'm mainly talking about the Vipers when it comes to that. Just the amount that you control with the screen matters so much. And Ange dipped back a lot over the course of that defensive half, giving away vents, giving away tower to drone more than anything else. Jonah, meanwhile, though, I mean, constant control of ramp, never really letting that go. The attacking Viper looked very clean, despite the fact that it was pretty skewed towards A side a lot of the time, which you normally don't see. An unorthodox attacking half on Split, to say the least, but this YFP squad looks gorgeous on it. I'm so glad we got to see him play on it.
I mean, I like how they are taking comps that we've seen so often before and just modifying them slightly. To go back on your point about Ange, the reason why we saw him backing so far away, giving up crucial parts of the map, is because, and look, I wouldn't expect this either if I was the Glazers placing against YFP, a team who, again, has only played Split like twice in the last year. Play a KO on this map, and your utility is shut down in these obvious spots. And Physic had those lineups. They have scrimmed, they have practiced some unorthodox things, and this is only the beginning.
It was really amazing reactive play as well from YFP, just understanding what these teams bring to the table and then playing accordingly. And although that will be a lot tougher in an environment where it is much more fast-paced, where these teams, they are even more locked into what they want to do, for now, for here, YFP are victorious. Biggest of congratulations to them. So deserved. And I mean, best of luck to Glazers in that lower bracket. It's going to be tough, but they look really good.
Yeah, I mean, you know, do you think they'll qualify in the lower bracket?
I think it's tough. Right now, you've got Leet waiting in the wings. They just took down Shopify Rebellion, actually. And hey, yeah, let's get a good look at that. You'll see that the Glazers and Winthrop currently waiting for those matches to end. Leet will be facing off against the winner of Burgerville versus Nightblood, and Winthrop will be facing off against the winner of Lucky 7 versus Ambrosia versus the winner of Blinn Esports versus Thinking Men. We still have a lot of matches to play through. There's still a lot going on in these off streams. So of course, when we end here, obviously, please go check out these other matches that are going on. These teams are not playing with a cushion. You will see everyone we got to cast tomorrow. You cannot say the same for the teams that are currently remaining on broadcast. So please go check out those matches because they are giving their hearts out, and there's some banger matches that are still going on right now.
Yeah, I have a feeling that we might have some more qualifying teams tomorrow.
It's very true. We do indeed. We have 2 more that'll get to qualify tomorrow, leading to our 4 that come out of OQ1. And I mean, that'll be that halfway mark. It feels crazy that this is all finally happening, Keg. And I mean, it's got to feel so real to SAD and YFP after today.
Absolutely, but for the teams that haven't qualified yet, they still have a huge amount of work to do tomorrow, and there's still more teams that get to qualify. But that does wrap it up for today. For us, we do have some more matches tomorrow, so if you enjoyed, of course, the Open Qualifiers #1, the VCL Challengers powered by Zippo, I hope you stick around for tomorrow, and we'll get to see who allots all of the beginning of Challengers. We'll have to wait and see. We'll see you then.
They say in life, there are no guarantees. They say a lot of stuff like that. Slow it down. Play it safe. Hedge your bets. So what? You gonna listen to that? You gonna stop because they can't guarantee you'll pull this off? No guarantee you'll win? No guarantee everything's gonna be fine? In life, you make your own guarantees. Nobody else will light your way. Start your own fire and keep it burning. And we guarantee you'll have one hell of a lifetime.